Hi, welcome to my toy box. We're going to have such a good time today at the Mentor Project. As you can probably tell, we have a guest, but I'm not going to tell you who he is. He's going to tell you himself, and then I'm going to tell you who he really is at the end. But as for me, I'm Marilyn Price, and I welcome you to our program. The show today is called A Taste of the Steadfast Tin Soldier. We have a little original music written by our dear friend Julian Frazen, and of course puppets made by me and seen by you. But enough, let's start. Take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hans Christian Andersen. I'm a writer of stories, for children mostly. Raise your hand if you've heard any of these. The Ugly Duckling, The Emperor's New Clothes, The Little Mermaid. Oh, thank you. That's great. I was born over 200 years ago in a town called Odense in the little country of Denmark. And though I never married or had any children, I like to think that all of the thousands of children who have read or heard my stories are, in a kind of way, my own. And even though I've been gone a long time, every time any of them reads one of my tales or has one of them told to them, I become alive, just as I am here today. One of my favorite stories is the one you are about to see. It is called The Steadfast Tin Soldier, and it starts like this. There were once 25 tin soldiers, all brothers, for they had all been made from the same old tin spoon. Each man stood at attention, kept his eyes well in front, and wore the smartest red and blue uniform imaginable. All of the soldiers were exactly alike, with one exception. You see, there was one who was different from the others because he only had one leg. He was made last, and there was not quite enough tin left to finish him. However, he stood just as well on his one leg as the others did on two. And he was the one who became famous.
If we should tarnish, if we should rust, we'll carry on, for we know we must protect the toys of girls and boys and never to be afraid. Little tin soldiers on parade.
Here is the hero of our story. Steadfast and true, this is a love story of sorts, and it all takes place out of a toy box in a little boy's room. He loved playing with his tin soldiers. But at night, as many of you know, especially those who have read stories by our commentator, our hero, our author, Hans Christian Andersen, at night, the toys come alive. For our purposes today, I would like you to meet the good guys, like the tin soldiers, the beloved, like his beautiful princess, ballerina, and then the bad guys, because they always move the story along. So let us move along. The tin soldier sat steadfastly, no matter, and that's how he got his name. But at midnight, when the little boy was sleeping, all of the characters came to life to move our story along. Well, the first one to move our story along was his beloved, and that would be the beautiful ballerina. And though he tried to express his love for her, she stood exactly still and did not move, just like him. And she too sat on one leg. The ballerina. Thank you so much, Tinkerbell. Nice job. Now, in the meantime, there were those who had been in the toy box forever and lived in the room where the little boy played. For example, there was the teddy bear. Now, the teddy bear was so old, his name was Theodore Bear, and he knew everybody and everything. Perchance you know someone like that. as well. The teddy bear, a good guy and wise beyond his years. All of our characters in this story have music written just for them. But for today, what we're going to do is just meet them. For example, as goes with his name, was the meanest rat you have ever seen, and he took great pride in being a mean rat. He was a meanie. There was, of course, the worst villain of all. And one of the things that made him such a villain was that he believed that the beautiful ballerina belonged to him. And he was jealous of the tin soldier who'd never ever complained but just stood tin fast. His name was Jack, and he lived in a box. I'm sorry. I'm going to put him away for now because he's so mean. Sorry, Hans, did I scare you? Yeah. A little. Not much you can do to scare Hans Christian Andersen. As our story continues, the tin soldier is swept out into a sewer and begins to be carried away by a little tiny boat that, of course, you and I can design out of a piece of paper. As he sails down the sewer water, he meets a variety of characters who, of course, live in the water. The first one he runs across is a fish. A golden fish. Blum, blum, blum. As our story continues, he, of course, is swallowed by the fish and ends up back in the house, in the kitchen, where our hero's little boy who plays with him lives. As the story goes along, and I'm not going to tell you the end of the story because I want you not only to read it, but I want you to watch it unfold. Because in a book, all good things unfold. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as I close the toy box at the end of our time, is how the story goes. So we have many stories to thank Hans Christian Andersen for. The ones that he has mentioned, and even more. He wrote 178 stories, all of them different. Sometimes the good guy wins, and sometimes the good gal wins. And sometimes the stories have their own ending that you can supply. But sitting here today is not Hans Christian Andersen, who would be well over 200 years old. This is Roger Price. So I'd like you and me to give him a big round of applause for agreeing to come on the Mentor Project today. You can watch this, you can listen to it, but mostly I hope that you get the message. The little tin soldier was not perfect, but he was good and kind and true, and he loved with all his being. He believes, as do I, and as did Hans Christian Andersen, also known as Roger Price, that all of us are good as we can be, and we all should do what we can to make ourselves be happily ever after. And so, as I pass through the studio and thank my able assistant, Hans Roger Price, I'm going to tell you again, I hope you all live happily
Ever